tune in if you want to hear. So we have Chad, Josh, Dmitri, and Marcus every Friday.
It's the Square Round Table.
Tune in.
It's the Square Round Table podcast. Let's have a blast. I know at work you had a long day. Just relax and tune in.
Hey, what is going on, my freaks and geeks? Welcome to the Square Round Table podcast. I want to thank all of our viewers and listeners for joining us again for another amazing episode, guys. And as you can see, tonight is nothing different. Tonight, we have a very special episode. This guy right here has been mentioned on our podcast a couple of times, so we're just thankful that he came out to chat with us. So without further ado, guys, I want to introduce creative director, visual artist, cartoonist, and the creator of one of our favorite cartoons, Lazor Wulf. So please, guys, give a warm Square Round Table welcome to Mr. Henry Bonsu.
Welcome.
Oh man, that was an immaculate intro. Run it back, just for
Run it back. Hey man, I appreciate. I take pride in my intros, man. So whenever I get a compliment on it, that just brings a tear to my eye. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
we haven't gotten into the heavy stuff yet. Save the tears. Save the tears.
I got you.
Hold those tears. Hold the
tears. No, thank you guys so much for having me on. Sorry.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's like I said, it's an honor because we've been talking back and forth for a minute trying to get a date settled. And yeah, it's just been something me and my guys have been looking forward to for a while. To end out the year having you on our show, like I said, that's amazing. Didn't want it any other way.
Man, too many kind words already. I mean, I can't.
Well, we'll cool it. It's going to get more chill as we continue on. But one of the initial things I like to do, Henry, before we jump into everything, we did talk a little bit before, but I like to just get an idea for how you're doing right now. How's everything going for you? We talked about how you just been chilling. How's everything been going? The writer strike is over. All of that good stuff. How are you feeling lately?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Honestly, like I've just been drawing a bunch. I've been drawing a bunch, honestly, and just taking it easy. And by easy, I mean drawing. Honestly, most of the time I'm drawing. I really that's where I'm most comfortable. That's what I'm most comfortable doing. And like, if I'm not drawing, I'm on the couch playing video games.
Hey,
I get that.
Hey, ain't nothing better than that right there, man.
Or like scrolling for 2 hours through all the streaming apps I got to find one movie to watch.
I know, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Just regular.
Yes, man.
Just regular stuff.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. Now, the scrolling through like endless streaming apps is huge for me because I work from home. So I faced my computer in a way to where I'm like right up against the TV. So while I'm working, I'm really just watching TV the whole time. But lately, because I'm a big horror fan, I'm a big horror person.
Okay.
So I've been on Hulu. Hulu has been winning for me lately out of all the streaming platforms because their horror films, their Hulu specific horror films are immaculate. Like, I don't know what's your favorite, Henry, as far as streaming platforms, but Hulu's got like Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Hulu's got pretty much everything I like to watch. So Hulu been winning for me lately.
Favorite stream? I'm not loyal. Pretty much whichever one is serving me the best, I'm going with. There's no loyalties here. Look, I refuse to. Like, honestly, like I jump to any one of them at any time. And a lot of times too, when I'm like I got the 2 monitors set up. One monitor is just for referencing. Yeah, if I'm watching something, while my Cintiq is what I primarily work on. And it's funny, a lot of times now, I find myself just watching some video essay on YouTube. Especially lately too, a lot of folks on YouTube do like horror essays, video essays, breaking down an old horror
I love
film.
those.
And And it's funny too, because I sometimes enjoy watching those more than I enjoy watching the movie itself. Just hearing how someone break down how much they enjoyed a movie and what they saw, whether or not I like it or not. Just hearing someone who has a genuine love and appreciation for something and can break it down in ways that I didn't see or understand it. I don't know. It makes me not only appreciate the movie more, like the movie in a different way, I should say. I just personally find myself in that zone, in that lane a lot these days. Video essays. I don't like. I watched someone break down the first Alan Wake game. I never played it.
You know what? I know what channel you're talking about. That's In Praise of Shadows, right? I
In Praise of Shadows. Yes. Oh man. Yeah, that channel is so good. That channel is so enjoyable.
Very good.
I think the first
one of my
video
addictions right now.
Yeah. One of the first videos I saw on that channel was it was this obscure Sam Raimi movie called Crime Wave. And
Crime Wave.
I was like, wait, this person's doing a video on Crime Wave? Let me sit down and check it out. And the way he broke it down, it was this genuine appreciation and love for it that, I just subscribed immediately, and I was like, all right, I'm just interested when folks can just break down the things they love. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Mine is a studio binder.
Seriously.
They do all the movies and stuff, and they break down directors and they tell you different techniques. So for me, it's like a refresher course because I done been out of school for a minute. So like when I need to get my film terms again and remember stuff, I go straight to studio binder all the time.
Oh man, yeah, that's one too. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like YouTube really just occupies a lot of my viewing time.
Nah, seriously.
Agreed. Yeah, I'd say I spend ridiculous amounts of hours on there. I think per week I spend more time doing that than streaming for sure. Like,
yeah, definitely,
man. Yeah, I spend so much time on there. I might as well get a subscription to the subscription service or whatever their thing is. They call it, what is it, YouTube Red
TV,
or Premium TV or whatever it is. Keep changing it.
They keep changing it. Yeah, the pivot, just pivoting. No, I'm honestly an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour video. I'm just like, it's on while I'm working, and a lot of times too. I'm just absorbing.
Yeah, it's good background noise for when you're like gaming. I used to do that when I'm gaming. I used to have things in the background while I'm like playing a game or whatever like that. Oh, just to have something go on while I'm just listening to somebody say something and then also just playing something to keep my mind just going.
I usually have, it sounds strange, but I'll have old commercials. I'll pull up commercials from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and watch a compilation of that. And I'll do a compilation of Japanese commercials too from the 70s and 80s. Because you want to talk about budgets. A lot of these are also when you go back in time with this stuff. Certain types of media just got more money back then, especially when it was a lot newer than it is today, obviously. So certain media just had more money, and you watch an old commercial and it's a 1 minute film. This commercial definitely was made with $10 million with a $10 million budget, which would never happen today. But I watch a lot of those, and I do get a lot of my inspiration, like old Japanese commercials and just old commercials from anywhere, really, as long as it's.
The old commercials are the best anyway, though. That feel good, like nostalgia. They got the little theme song to go along with the product, it's always that same little thing. You come to this place, then you get what you want. It's always that come-hit thing.
Yeah, and like nowadays, you have to guess what the product is in these commercials nowadays. You got to be sitting there like paying attention, like, okay, what are you trying to sell me? What are you trying to sell me right now?
Look, a couple of those old ones, like especially the car commercials, like I'm telling you, you don't even know what they're selling till the end card. And you're like, you spent $10 million on this nonsense. And I think that's what I appreciate about it. A lot of it is, old media, and it doesn't apply. The tactics they use to sell something doesn't apply. You can't. It's like a lot of them be like, yo, you can't say that. You can't do that anymore. What you like? You can't sell your product like this. And to me, like, obviously for the better, we know each other better, hopefully, but a lot of these commercials they use tactics that are archaic and Jurassic in a way, and it's just sometimes entertaining to see. You're like, wow. And obviously the jingles.
Oh, yeah.
Singing their heart out.
No, for real. I would say, like, for me, and I swear, like, Henry, I swear we're related, man. Because, like, I did the same thing, and I thought that was just so bizarre. One day I got caught up, and if you want to watch that too, please. I got caught up watching old Orson Welles commercials. That's the funniest mess in the world. Like, because at the time, like,
he has some funny commercials.
He got some funny ones. He got funny ones.
It's hilarious. But I think the commercials for me that never fail are and we all know them. They've been doing this since the beginning of time. Those medicine commercials where you have like a lady throwing a frisbee to a dog or somebody dancing in the car.
They're talking about how she can have a heart attack. Her
mild case of death.
And everybody looks so happy. And
those commercials are because there's no research and development team back then. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one creative or three creatives like, yo, the research was probably done in 20 minutes and we just got to sell this medicine. Facts be damned. Don't worry about that if it's a lawsuit. Just have this lady throw this frisbee, look at the camera, say some stuff. It's
hilarious.
Let's shoot all this for $5 million.
Right? Got some money at it real quick. And then to do the whole little lower voice but speed it up kind of thing to get past the bad things. And they do like a whole paragraph in 2 seconds.
It's a skill. It's an evil skill.
Yeah.
It's just like some a bunch of like, yo, like you can die in this many ways.
But it'll fix your problem. Yeah, well,
in the darkest way, if you have a problem and you die, the problem doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. There it is. There we go. That's the pitch right there.
Not in the way you think, but it'll be fixed.
Or you die and you fix the problem. So they have a win. 100% success rate.
Yep. We never lied to you. We just omitted some information.
Yeah, we just
gotta love those loopholes.
50%.
You gotta love those.
Oh, most definitely.
Exactly. But one thing we wanted to dive into more as far as you're concerned, Henry, of course, for my guests, I have to do research, but I didn't do a lot to ruin things. But just reading up on you, some of the things that came across was how you started off with watching a lot of TV and comics. And that was something that gave you a lot of inspiration. So I wanted to know, as far as television and comic books, number one, we got to get into what kind of comic books you were reading in the first place.
We got it, of course.
But that's going to be a conversation. But we want to know, in what ways did these types of media inspire you for what you would go on to do later on?
I guess I'll start with television. Just it's so hard to even begin because I love television. I love television. Like, I think for me, like, I feel like I've, seen everything or little bits of everything. But I was definitely like watching Nickelodeon a lot as a kid. But then I had older cousins. For me, it was like they wanted to switch to like MTV and then watch Rap City at 4. So it was like, but then at the same time, Mom very much watching Keeping Up Appearances on PBS, which was like an old British sitcom, and watching Masterpiece Theater. And then my dad is just watching the news. So it's like all of, like, for me, like, I feel like the TV, obviously I love my cartoons, but then a lot of TV too that kind of also just really stuck in my mind was funny enough, a lot of live action stuff. One of my favorite shows ever is Pete and Pete, and I feel like that's still to this day, a big inspiration for me. And I remember this show is very old, but I felt like it was on Fox, but it came on around the time that it premiered around the same time as The Simpsons, I think. But I don't know how many seasons it had, but I remember being a kid. I remember it being like 5 or 4, and it was on. It was called Get a Life. And it was about a grown man who lived with his pops, but he was also a paper boy. And it was like, I felt like that concept broke my brain because episodes were weird. There was no continuity in a way where it's a comedy, and some episodes he could die. And it's a live action show. Like he could die, and the next episode he's back. It's not really referenced. So the stakes were very weird because you're like, all right, I'm watching what could be a Looney Tunes concept, but then a Bugs Bunny can die. This main character can die at the end of the episode. And it was so silly and weird that it just, stuff like that broke my brain in regards to like the stuff that I really like, that sticks with me and that I enjoy. A lot of the early like 90s Nickelodeon live action stuff too is just, I think I come back to it a lot now because a lot of it just felt more, I don't know if this is the right word, homemade in a way. Are you afraid of dark? All that. It just sticks with me more now. And obviously I watched all the other stuff like Fresh Prince Martin and Living Single, and even what's that? Wow, I can't believe. I don't know why this show popped up. Hey Dude.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, those were the live action things I would watch. But cartoon wise, I was all over the place. Like I watched anything that was animated, I would give a chance and watch. And even if I didn't like it, I would sit through it. Like I remember there was a Bill and Ted cartoon. I watched that for a bit. Toxic Avenger, Dark Water, Cats. And that was like early 4 or 5 years old. And then obviously like around preteen to teenage years, once Cartoon Network became a part of the cable package. Because I don't know if you remember, Cartoon Network was its own separate. You had to buy Cartoon Network. And sometimes they give you the free week trial. But when it became a part of the cable package, I was like, oh, all right. I'm watching Dexter, Powerpuff Girls.
and Eddie.
Yeah. And mind you, obviously, Toonami just...
Woo. That did a lot, yeah.
It did.
I mean, it did a lot. It did a number is correct, but it might have destroyed the world in the best way.
I think so.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
It's homie, like, oh man, because I love Toonami so much, and obviously it's a reference point for all of us, and I watched everything on Toonami, like from Hamtaro to like that Bo show. Like I watched whatever they put in front of me, I was watching, and it was how I even got deeper into episodes of Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball, because they used to have Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball on network TV, but they stop it at a certain point.
Every time.
Yep. So like I finally got to see those episodes, and obviously that just opened the doors more in that direction for me. But Adult Swim came along, and that also was like, all right, I'm here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
present and accounted for. But with all that, I there's just so many things I'm afraid that I'm like forgetting, and I want to shout out, but I love so much.
You know, I always tell the guys we were spoiled as kids with TV. Like we had so much, we had so many outlets we could go to that, like you just said, when you talk about it, you can't get everything in one like breath because it was so much. Yeah. So
I'm very grateful. Yes. That way. Yeah.
And a lot of those shows got away with a lot of stuff, man, that they can't get away with now. Oh my word.
Yeah, it did. That's the thing, though. Even now, currently, there's shows that are probably right now, currently, that are, and we don't know we don't know that they're getting away with stuff, and then 10 years from now, you're like, man, you can't pull that no more. But those restrictions are always, I'd like to believe they encourage creativity. Like the best minds find weird ways and like absurd ways and surreal ways out of these restrictions, and sometimes the best shows come from it.
No, I definitely agree. Like I could think of right now just so many heavy topics that were talked about on shows like not Rent was crazy, but Rocco's Modern Life, things like that, or Courage the Cowardly Dog, stuff that had to be. Yes, exactly.
Those
Which
are
was
adult
like
shows, man.
Yes, for real. Like that was like my.
Can I say this for a minute?
Courage had some of the most legitimately frightening episodes.
Yes,
it did. Hell yeah.
It was episodes of Courage that scared. I was like, I'm lucky I got brothers. If I'm alone watching this, I might have to like not continue.
The Return of Slab one, the Quack Doctor one.
So many.
Man.
Yes.
So many.
So many.
When Houston used to put on the mask.
Talk about a horrible, horrible human being.
Yeah,
man.
He was
terrible.
Muriel wasn't. I mean, she was great, but there was that one episode when she was a kid and she had the macaroni.
Oh, the mac and cheese.
Yeah, the mac and cheese. Too much macaroni.
Muriel's married to Eustace, so I already had an idea. I was like, she ain't okay either.
Exactly.
Right. Not at all.
Just to your point of that idea of cartoons not being able, certain things you can't necessarily pull off now, or you have to find different ways to convey it. Even in Hey Arnold, Helga's mom definitely medicated.
Oh, yeah.
Heavily medicated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alcoholic.
Yeah. Straight alcoholic.
How do you tell this story now for kids? Because in a way, it's valuable. It's valuable. And to me, like it built the character. It wasn't excusing it, but those things you find new ways to tell.
Because she had like both her parents were just messed up. He was trash. I think she had the mom had like a sister or whatever. She was trash.
Yeah,
and then, like, Helga
had a sister.
Yeah,
Helga had a sister. Yeah. That's what it was. I knew somebody had a sister, and they were trash too.
The most messed up one is when they showed her like she was going to pre-K, and they were so into her sister that they totally forgot and didn't pay her no attention, and she walked to pre-K by herself.
I just watched that.
Yeah. And I guess what Hey Arnold took place in like New York or something.
Yeah.
So like in a city like that, a 4-year-old is walking to school by herself. That was so crazy to me.
That's
I was like,
crazy.
wow.
And it's
There's
like
so many tragic characters in that show for real, though.
Yeah, but also some of the best, some of the funniest episodes. Some of the Garbage Day one is one of my favorite pieces of TV ever. Like that episode was like blew my mind. I was like, I love contained. I don't know how to describe that episode, but like narratives like that where there's a time crunch. You gotta everyone's working together, but then slowly the betrayals come in because I'm not trying to get dumped in the trash. And it was one of those episodes that just imprinted itself on my mind. I was like, all right.
No, same. No, and there's a lot of moments. And I talk, just like I said, I'm a horror fiend for sure. I tell the guys all the time about that. One of the best cartoon like takes on Invasion of the Body Snatchers I've ever seen. Like when they had the doppelgangers, when Arnold went to see his cousin and they lived in the country. Like, I love that. I love that so much. It was perfect.
Yeah, that was
Was
great.
wild.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Wow. Yeah. That one, is the Donald Sutherland one?
The Donald Sutherland one. That's the only one. Yes. That's the only one. That is the only one. I love that. And what were you about to say?
No, I said, it's just the hopelessness. Like when horror conveys like this, I think anime, especially for me, the aspect of horror and anime that I felt connected to me was like when they were able to convey like, this is a hopeless cause. I don't even it's gonna take a fluke for them to win. And even if they win, it doesn't even is it a win?
Right.
You're just like, all right, until next time, because this feels like it's gonna come back again. And I feel like, Body Snatchers.
Yes. It's a perfect example. And speaking of that, since you just mentioned that, Henry, and I don't know if you've watched it. I know Demetrius is going to beat me up for saying this, but I just started watching the greatest anime example of hopelessness, Attack on Titan, man. Jeez.
Really? Now? Now? I just finished that, told you that ending, and you gonna start watching it now?
That's how he do, Dmitri.
I'm about to spoil something for you because I want to talk about a moment from there. It's about hopelessness. So you about to get spoiled.
I'm on like episode 20, bro. I'm on like.
Oh, it's in season 3, bro. I'm about to spoil season 3 for you. No,
bro, you can't do that.
I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do it to you.
Spoilers never bother me though. To me, a story is a story. If the story is good, ending, I'm still watch it. But funny enough, I watched the first season of Attack on Titan when it first came out. Yeah, I always take my time to stuff because to me it's either I try to watch it before or after.
Yep.
I don't necessarily want to get caught up in the hype, and I want to have my own original things on it. And for me, I watched it in the beginning. I watched season 1, and it was definitely devastating. And I was like, at the time, I was like, I ain't ready for all this devastation.
Because it's bad. It's just bad on top of bad.
No, it's so bad. Like in episode 1, my boy loses his mom in front of his eyes, and the guy, because his homie, the guy he hangs out with, the blonde haired dude, I forget his name, and he's like trying to be this tough guy, whatever, and he sees the smiling Titan, and he's like, "Nope, I'm grabbing you and Mikasa. We rolling, we out. Your mom's gone, dude. It's okay." And
see, that's devastating is the word.
Yeah,
like. You ever see Old Boy?
No.
I've seen a little bit of it.
I've seen, a little bit.
It's famous. No, Demetrius, you probably seen it, but they always talk about the hallway scene because it's a one take hallway scene, and he's fighting a whole bunch of dudes with a hammer. I forget what it is, but
it's a great, wide shot fight scene, and that fight scene is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant fight scene, but the movie itself. And for me, I'm like, I need to work myself. Right? I felt like when I was younger, I'm jumping in. My friends, hey, I got this movie called Martyrs. You want to watch? Sitting there. Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen Martyrs. It is you talk about horror. If you like horror, put Martyrs on the list. I'm not vouching for it being good or bad. I'm just saying it's on the list.
Okay. I'm going to check it out.
You figure out how you feel about it. But for me, Attack on Titan. I think now that it's over, I'm gonna jump into it. I still need
that ending is great. It's so good. The thing is, it's the difference between the manga and the anime. The anime, he had enough time to flesh out things that he didn't in the manga because he rushed it, and it explains so much more. But at the end of the day, it is a sad and it's a hopeless ending. It is so good though. I'm not gonna say more than that because I ain't trying to spoil it for Chad because I know he's gonna be like he's already just.
Oh, I'm on. I've been watching it all day.
Wait till you get to season 3. No, into season 2. That's when it like it's already good, but that's when you're just like, man, this shit is crazy.
Because I was on. Oh no, it's crazy. I was just on the part where Levi literally curb West Side stomped Aaron in the courtroom. That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was
guy
wild.
He was like, I gotta show him up real quick. Let me make sure to let him know who's in charge here.
Wow. I'm just like, did it take all that, bro? Like Marcus, I'm gonna send you the scene, bro. That's some.
No, that thing is iconic, though. That thing is so iconic.
Hey, not the curve.
Knocked his tooth out.
Out here, curve stomping, boy. Man.
No, but you want to talk about hopelessness? When the first wall got broken, everybody look at the second wall, and then the armor titan comes to smash the second wall. That is hopelessness.
I don't think it gets beyond. Like once you watch your mom get devoured.
Yes.
Yeah. After that, you're pretty much done.
I'm emotionally tapped out. I'm just walking into the ocean.
But here's the thing. Here. Look, though, for me, it's like the soldier though. he was the biggest loser in that scene. And then the fact that he came back and had to apologize to my man, I'm like, yeah, you owe him an apology for that, because he ran up to the Titan and was like, oh no, I'm gonna save your mom, I got you, we good. And then he looked at that Titan in his eyes, the Titan smiled back, he was like, oh no. Nah, I didn't train for this. I'm like, bro,
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a better man. I don't.
No, I wouldn't even step up to him. I turn around, grab the kids, and go. I'm not even gonna show off like I'm gonna do something. 60
feet, smiling, naked, monster.
Right.
And I'm like, I can sit here to all three of your faces and say I do something. I'm like,
nah, I'm grabbing the kids and I'm dipping. Let's go. So, bye, mom. Yeah. Say your goodbyes.
He didn't even say that. He didn't even turn around and look at that woman. He just took off running. He was just like, he forgot her name, bro. He was, and here's my thing though, and I don't mean to like drone on about it, but it's crazy to me, especially when Eren and like Mikasa and everybody's training for 3 whole years, bro. They in the grind for 3 years.
Are you talking about the part that is talking about the first battle?
The first battle, bro. Everybody died.
Yeah.
Man.
Yo, life it be like that sometimes.
I guess.
Who was that? It was his homie, the one with the guy,
the blonde hair.
Yeah, he gets bit in half, and I'm just like, man, it's too late, man. Yeah. An old girl gets snatched up too.
Everybody got clapped.
It was crazy.
Folks train their whole lives just to make it to the league to get their shot blocked by Victor Wembanyama.
I'm telling you, man. Exactly.
You like that? I don't know what to.
Exactly.
What's like?
That's true.
I worked hard. Guess what? I'm tall.
Like,
get that out of here.
Get out of here.
Not tonight, buddy.
I'm sorry, but I don't got a death wish like that. They were like, I'm gonna join the survey crew. I'm gonna go out there. I'm like, nah, I'm a military police or whatever, or behind the guard.
Bro, that's what I said. That's what I told Peyton that. I was like, bro, why is everybody not trying to be military police right now? They don't have to do that. They don't have to be on the front lines. I don't care about flying around, bro. Like,
it's not to change the subject because it's in line with it. But like I said, like everything you're saying, to me, it's like my favorite Dragon Ball Z character is Yajirobe.
Okay.
The great Yajirobe, yeah.
You don't want to be involved, but if he sees an opening to cut the tail,
he does.
He take credit. And to me, it's even as a kid, I was like, he makes sense. He makes sense.
He makes sense, man. He's the realest of them all, man.
He's the GOAT for that.
I'm not trying to die.
Yeah.
But if I see a chance to cut a tail off, I'm gonna do it and dip.
It's like sometimes you gotta measure like your power levels with the next, and you're just like, yo, like they charging for 3 episodes. I can't charge. I got this sword. If I see an opening, maybe. But until next time. Peace.
I'd rather be Yajirobe than Yamcha, okay?
I would say that's the difference between him and Yamcha. Yamcha think he can fight and be like, nah, I'm finna help y'all out.
Yeah, and you end up laying on the floor meme. There is no Yajirobe laid out meme.
Man, I just want to say a huge shout out, man, because Yamcha's like one of the only characters I think in the history of characters that has a action figure made of him dead. That's crazy. That's wild, bro. How you do that?
It's so many. I'm like at a loss for words too, because I feel like we've all seen that meme and we've all had our thoughts.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to end up. You don't want to end up the guy on the poster taking it in the face while the dude is dunking on you. You don't want to end up.
You don't ever want to be that dude.
No.
And Yamcha's I've watched Dragon Ball Z. And Yamcha's whole arc is just summed up now by
laid out. That's it.
Exactly.
And homie if the old cartoons he could fight. He was like, tough.
Yeah. And Dragon Ball, he was giving hands.
And no one cares. No one cares.
It's because he thought he could mess with a Super Saiyan or a Saiyan, and he couldn't even mess with Goku as a kid.
Man,
what he doing?
It's just like this. It's like you let an alien come take your girl and marry her.
have a whole baby with her.
And have a whole family on you. And then you getting two-pieced by Cybermen? You getting two-pieced? Like, bro, what are you...
That's what makes animation and comics, all that stuff so brilliant. Because, you could take that plot and put it in and make it a soap opera.
You can.
And it's really a valid soap opera.
It works.
Yep.
It works. You're just like, this person was dating that person, now they're dating that person, but that person wanted to kill this person at one point, but now that person is a former prince that was sent down to kill these people. And now it's just, it's all there. And it don't matter because you could end up a meme.
Yeah.
Dead in a crater.
I honestly think now the creator just doesn't like Yamcha because he sets Tien up good, decent. Tien don't be doing too stupid stuff. Yamcha's just like, yo, I can take that guy over there. Watch out, guys. I got this. I'll hold him off.
I don't necessarily know. I don't think the creator doesn't, because when it comes to creators not liking characters, I think it's more so you just it's not that you hate the characters. It's more so sometimes you just know how, because he created a moment. You just know what that character is suited for.
Yep.
Like, to take it L's.
I love wrestling, WWE. All right. To me, it's also another big source of inspiration. And it's you have your characters that you're written to lose. That's your job. You're written to make the bad guy feel stronger. And that's the whole crux of anime. You got the homie that's gonna get two-pieced very badly.
Yeah.
Make your main character like, yo, maybe you should retire.
Or
once again is laid out in a crater.
No, after that, he should have been like, you know what, V Fighters, you got this. I'm gonna go live a life over here, the martial arts, teaching people basic stuff over here.
I think that anime will be written. I think we will have that battle anime where we watch the friend laid out, and it takes that dramatic. It's gonna be the reverse Dragon Ball effect, where it starts off as a battle manga, and it's gonna go for a battle manga for a lot of issues. One day, the main character watches his homie get like the dust beat out of him, get the clothes beat off of him.
The clothes, literal clothes.
He's gonna get the clothes beat off of him, and then it's gonna turn into a slice of life manga. It's just gonna be him retired, sweeping, going to school, loving his family because he ducked the fame. Gonna go from Dragon Ball to Shin-Chan. And I'm the audience. I'm waiting for that.
But here's the thing, Henry. Like Demetrius's point, like you even if that's not the, I guess that's not the point for Akira Toriyama. You just feel like he don't like Yamcha because Yamcha don't get no W's. I'll make a parallel, right, for you. Let's look at Stupid Horse as a good example, right? Stupid Horse, my man be taking some L's, and he be like the butt of jokes a lot of times, but he has some wins. You guys are throwing some wins in there for Stupid Horse. He's one of them guys.
I wouldn't necessarily say wins. It's more like his perspective. Like, it's a win for him based on his perspective of things, but for the rest of the homies, they're just like, you successfully opened the door and stepped outside and lived. Congratulations.
Literally.
You know what I mean? But when you're a serial optimist, or like you're fighting to be a serial optimist, and that's the thing. I really dug all the characters, but for me, it's Stupid Horse is the perfect lightning rod for certain types of BS. Yeah, because it's like you develop the character in a way where you're just like, he's on, the nonsense needs to happen to him, because the way the character is written is just, I would describe Stupid Horse to writers and producers when I would get a note. I'm like, we all have friend groups, and outside looking in, someone, man, this friend group is being particularly mean to this one. That's not right. But then you're like, you don't know him. You don't know her. Person's ego is out of control, and the only way we can keep them in check is by kicking the chair from underneath them, because it's like their ego is absurd. And I feel like at certain moments we try to show, like, if Stupid Horse was given the opportunity to just go off, it wouldn't be good for anybody. So, like, we care about you. We want you around. We don't want you to end up dead in a crater. You know what? Instead of you ending up dead in a crater, we're going to trip you a couple times before you puff your chest out.
Exactly. Because I was just like, my man was super duper excited about them black fingers he got. You know,
I was about to say that. I was literally about to talk about that. That was just my next point. He's like, I got these. And I was
fingies.
But you see how that's nonsense, right? If you don't have a friend say, you want black hands? You want some black hands, though? You're an idiot. Obviously, it's the most absurd direction we could take it.
Completely.
But it's just, I think at its crux, that idea of friend groups and just the roles we play within it. Outside looking in, especially when you're not a member of the friend group, there's so much you can say just looking in. But like when you really boil it down, it's like we all know the dynamics, the interpersonal dynamics of this friend group, and we know it's not necessarily always there's love here, but they don't necessarily mesh well without the third friend present. And to me, it was like try to convey that in the most surreal way. Yeah.
No, I definitely I like that. I just wish that my boy Yamcha can get a couple of those wins every now and
again. Man, like I wanted to, I'll be
just
fine.
1 or 2.
I say the same thing about Vegeta for the longest time, and I still do. But at the very least, he's got a family, and he's like a decent person, or decent now, relative to what he was before. I'll say it like that.
You just keep changing the description. You're like. He's a decent person a little bit.
Relatively speaking, he's got bodies on his head. You know what I'm saying?
He's an okay guy.
Look, you guys feel bad for Yamcha, and I'm gonna put it to you like this: homie died and came back. Yeah, you talking about wins? He died.
That is a win.
That's a win.
I mean, wait, wasn't it at the time he died and then he came back and his girl was gone or something like that, or she had moved on?
And yeah, she would have.
He came back, he got a win, and then it immediately took an L.
Immediate L.
Do you want to know what though?
What's that?
He died and he came back. The girl ain't signed up for like her man to come back as a zombie.
But she knew the Dragon Balls existed. It's out of pocket, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but it always comes back. Look, with Yamcha, always come back to the crater. It's look.
Yeah,
I love you, but I can't really see past you laid out.
That's probably how the conversation went too. If Vegeta didn't land in a crater, you did. I'm going this way.
I'm like, at least Krillin got blew up by somebody important. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
true. And got married.
He got his clothes blown off by somebody important. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he gave somebody a power up. So at the end of the day, he died and won because Goku got the power up now, and he's big boss now.
Yamcha is inadvertently the Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
he's Charlie.
He's Charlie Brown.
I'm telling you. You're gonna need one. You're gonna need one. Someone gotta get the clothes beat off of him, and it was Yamcha.
Or lay in a crater, or get left for the tournament because they left him for the tournament of power. They were like, "Yeah, we're not even gonna contact you, Yamcha, for the tournament of power."
They're like, sit down, take a couple seats, Yamcha.
Go home and be a family man.
Go get a family, man.
That's it. It's okay.
It's okay. Bulma's not looking at you no more. It's okay. Go get a family.
For real. It's all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Hey,
you're still alive. You came back to life.
It happened. So, but Henry, to pivot from that, man, as far as comics, man, what are you into? What are we looking at as far as the world of Spider-Man and Black Panther?
Man. Okay. For me, comics started like comic strips were Sunday comics in particular.
Oh, nice.
For me, I wanted to even as a kid, I was like, man, I want to draw comic strips in the newspaper because I was like, when you draw, and everyone's like, how you gonna make money drawing? And I was like, comic strips, you draw every day. And I'll have a job. I'll just draw comic strips every day. And that was where obviously Calvin and Hobbes, Dennis Menace, like Jumpstart, so many different comic strips. And for me, it started there. And my aunt worked at I'm originally from New Jersey. I was born in Irvington, but lived in East Orange, New Jersey. And my aunt worked at the airport. She would bring home, and my cousin's parents, they worked at the airport. So sometimes they bring home Archie comics, Archie Digest comics. For me, like I said, cartoons or anything that had illustrations in it, I was going to read no matter what. So I would say from the ages of 4 up until I would say 8 or 9, I was reading mainly those comic strips, or I'll get an Archie comic from my aunt. But around 9 or 10, there was a Scholastics book fair.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I found this X-Men digest. It was black and white. They would do like Marvel would print old X-Men comics. This color in digest form. And this particular one was when the X-Men went to arcades. You know the Villain Arcade?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to his, I forgot what it was called, but Arcade Land, I'm assuming it was called. And I remember that was like the first actual Marvel comic I had. Because outside of that, I was only seeing the X-Men and X-Men I was seeing the cartoons. I had no actual reference point because like East Orange, there's no comic book stores in the hood. You know what I mean? So,
for real.
I would see weird comics in the library. You know what I mean? I'd see old German or Japanese comics, these obscure comics that somebody donated randomly to a library and they just put it there because it was just there, those types of things. But I found that digest, the X-Men digest, and I was like, oh man, so there's so I started like reading X-Men, and funny enough, even at that point, I still wasn't buying comics a lot. A lot of my comics were this weird because my dad would work at JCPenney. We'd get the JCPenney Christmas catalog. And my dad was like, all right, you and your brother pick out all your presents from here. And I work at JCPenney, there's a discount. One of the things in the JCPenney catalog was 500 comics. 500, or was it 200? 200 comics. And just get 200 comics. So I was like,
just random comics.
200 random comics. And you know what comics they were, the 25-cent bin comics. You know what I mean? Like, ranging from DC Valiant comics to Marvel comics to like other like obscure. I got those. And for me, it was like, I'm reading whatever. So a lot of my comics taste was like all over the place in that way. The idea of just comics, I just really enjoyed it. But for me, my favorite for a while, when I would in my teens eventually make it to a comic book store, I would definitely still dig through the 25-cent comic bin, but I'd pick up a Wolverine. I'd jump around because to me, it's like I said, same with streaming. I am not loyal. If you I'm gonna go find something else. I dip in and out, especially if it got to the point where continuity with comics got to be a mess. I don't even know how to keep up with this.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, and for me, it was like that's what made me jump. I think right after this is far back, Ecstatics. It's like Mike Allred. It was like an X-Men, like it was when the X-Force became Ecstatics. It's like 2 or something. After that, I really dug that. It was weird. It was like, oh man, they finally like Marvel's just like doing like really weird stuff. That's dope. And then that kind of ended. So I tapped out of that a bit and started reading more alternative comics, really. Ghost World and some Daniel Clowes comics and Chris Ward. And these alternative comics that just wrapped up would have the beginning, middle, and end in the book. Because
exactly.
600 issues of Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but for me, it's at that time too, it was hard to find back issues, and you can't afford back issues.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I didn't have an iPad at the time like I do now, where it's like I can get Marvel U and go and look at Spider-Man comics from the 80s. So for me, like I do have Marvel U in the DC Comics app, so I just sometimes go in there and look for like old issues, like the art too, like when they didn't care about perspective
at all. Exactly.
And I'm like, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, where it's like the digital coloring didn't go insane and everything has like a lens flare. Folks, there's 5 gradients happening. I'm like, the flat colors, 6 colors to a page era. Like I jump back into that now, especially doing making cartoons. Like even with manga, I go back. I got the Viz and Shonen Jump app, and I read. I never read them. I went back to like early, like JoJo.
Yeah.
Hey, JoJo's my stuff.
I read like up until Steel Ball.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Read all of Dragon Ball, and then and then just to get an idea too, respectfully, where these. You just want to see the beginning, like how they started.
Exactly.
Wow, sometimes you see like Akira Toriyama, and you're like, wow, this guy had like weirdly like the mythology figured out in terms of technology. It's weird, like when you think about like started in the 80s and these capsules and like Bulma throwing a capsule, and a motorcycle coming out, a house coming out. Like these concepts are so crazy even today. But their background, but it's still crazy. You could make a show just based off of the capsule core, you know?
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah.
Or the fact that she made a time machine. Nobody ever talks about how she just makes a time machine, and nobody's ever like, oh, it's a time machine, whatever. I'm like, it's a time machine.
Yeah, and that level of storytelling, to me, more so today, really inspires me, especially when it comes to comics. A lot of times you're like, man, this side character's life is way more interesting than the main.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oma's story is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was looking for Dragon Balls. I found this little alien kid. We traveled around. I'm getting chased by like folks named after food. I married an alien prince who was sent here to blow up the earth.
It's like you just told it. Oh, go ahead. What are you about to say?
I was going to say, not to mention she created a device to find these magical balls she barely knew anything about. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And we following an idiot who's like the worst dad ever.
Hey, people be trying to fight that charge on him though. They'll be saying he's a good dad. They're like, oh, he's a great dad.
Where though?
Where?
I'll give you an example. They give you an example that I saw in a video. They were like, because he knew that Gohan was strong enough to beat Cell, he gave Cell the sense of being, because he's like, hey, Gohan got it regardless. He knew his strength.
That is a terrible. All right, it's like parents watching their kids play sports. I believe I don't have any kids, but I believe my kid could do it until he couldn't. I was like, I thought you'd make that shot. I'm supposed to believe in you. But at the same time, Goku's not doing the equivalent of that. Gohan's not shooting a basket into a hoop. He's fighting a murderer.
Yeah. A murderer who's gonna blow up the entire planet.
Right. And then you
want to give him a sense of being.
I was about to say, you throw that murderer steroids. Right.
And then not even thing. Your kid ain't even full health.
He's not beating the allegations. He's not beating the bad dad allegations. Never.
Yeah, he's not, because I'm not even defending. I'm just saying that was the most wild claim I thought. I was like, really though? And they're like, he came back to give him the Kamehameha. I'm like, yeah, but if he wouldn't have done the stupid thing he did, he wouldn't even be in that situation.
And my thing is like, what's with the other boy? I don't even think I've even seen him on screen talking to Goten one time. Like,
Goten happened after he died, right? He came back and it was like, oh, you have a son now. I think that's how it worked. And
he was just like, oh, I'm gonna go fight this guy.
Yeah, let me go over here real quick. I got something to do.
Right, I'm gonna go get some milk.
Let me go over here real quick. The Goku story.
It's just like trash. So I don't.
Goku be like, call me back when you can turn into a Super Saiyan and fight, and then I'll
be back.
I'll come back around.
Right, call me back when you want to train.
Real weekend dad energy, yo. Real
right?
Like,
for real.
If anybody deserves,
I was about to say people give Vegeta like that stigma too, but I'm like, no,
Vegeta
he's
good
not.
dad.
He's a good dad.
Vegeta's a great dad.
They bring up the Trunks thing. They bring up the thing where he punched Trunks in the face, like in a time chamber. I was like, that ain't bad.
Yo, this might sound dark, but at least there was physical contact between son and father. Goku has probably never put his hand on any of his kids' shoulder. Like he only does that as he's disappearing. He's just like worst cartoon dad ever. He worse than Homer.
Here's the thing. Goku has a literal "I'm gonna leave you" move. He goes instant transmission off over here. He has a move of "I'm gonna leave you right now."
Weekend dad. He's my dad's coming to pick me up this week. He's gonna hang out.
I picked him up. Okay, here we go.
and I'll be honest, Henry, I got this thing about Homer, because you were talking about your internet deep dives or YouTube. I actually watched one about Homer, and they were right. Homer is just perpetually stupid. He loves his kids. He be doing all his antics he can provide for his family. Peter Griffin is the worst dad of all time.
No, Peter Griffin, like, I haven't seen Family Guy in a minute, but what I do remember, Peter Griffin's a monster. He's a monster. Like, that's the thing. It's like I don't even have him in it's crazy because I've never had him in the parent conversation, because it's like, why would I bring up Peter Griffin? It's like bringing up Cartman as like
the son of the year.
Son of the year or best friend ever. Like Peter Griffin has never popped up in my mind as a good dad, person, nothing. Like but I think like to a certain extent there's a comfort for folks who are watching, like Peter's not gonna let you down when it comes to being trash. Like that's guaranteed. If he's good, it's almost by mistake. It's almost like disgusting. You're like, yo, who's
right? And here's the thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just trash.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Lois ain't any better.
Lois sucks.
That goes to the Miriam. That goes back to the Miriam and Eustace. To me, it's like I don't necessarily go out feeling sympathy. Everyone's got agents. Like you chose Peter. You chose.
Right? You chose him.
But I'm just like, with Lois, I'm just like, bro, how many times are y'all going to write into the script? How many, when I think they've ran out of creative ways for Lois to cheat on Peter, they get me every time. So, number one, she cheated on him with Meg's boyfriend. Okay, cool, whatever. Number two, she cheated on him with the dog. Okay, fine. Number three.
Isn't it crazy that you just said, okay, fine, she cheated with the dog?
I know, right?
Do you not see the world? You're like, garbage people do garbage things.
Garbage people do garbage things.
They're only
in the universe. Yeah.
They're only being who, like, my wife always says, people, it's a classic, but it's people tell you and show you who they are. It's been 25 years of Family Guy. To me, it's like, this is who they are. And it's not to shoot Lois any bail, but is Peter Griffin a type of character worth staying faithful for?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
This is true.
They clearly wrote him with the intent. They wrote him away so that we wouldn't really feel bad. Because it's even when you said it, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because the thing with Marge and Homer is that they almost get to that point, but they never do. Because
they never cross it.
But with these two, they're just like two folks from
off the rip,
the New England area that just like garbage people.
Man, both of them.
The thing. Here's the thing. Between the two, the Simpsons and the Griffins, like both Marge and Homer love their kids, even so much to where Homer is miserable at his job, but it's just because he had another kid. So he's miserable to be there or whatever like that. He does everything for his kids. He's in his miserable job. He wanted to quit and do this whole entire different thing. There's a whole episode about that. But Peter and Lois literally terrorize Meg all the time.
All day, every day.
All
live
day,
in the
every
same
day.
neighborhood with an old creepy. I don't even.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to get like. I know that's going on YouTube, but so I was like,
We
Yeah,
know.
I know what you mean.
like,
Yeah.
so it's like, yo, like I said, garbage people. It's like at a certain point, you can't even get mad at the writing. It's just no, like he's found like a colorful way to show you like it's a garbage town full of garbage.
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, and their next door neighbor, the cop. That's the craziest
And they're
part of
still
the
wild.
movie.
And they're still
They
wilding.
still be wilding. Exactly.
I think in a way, he's giving you. All right, Seth MacFarlane has low key given you a real glimpse into white suburbia
Yeah.
in a way that
Man.
you're just, oh wow, like, this is it.
They be wilding out there.
Like you put the right chords and you listen to the Family Guy theme, you think you're going to a place. But it's just that place is scary when you take away the music. You put some like horror chords, you put the right chords behind this. Like, you got a creepy old man
Yeah.
who's definitely should be locked up. Your dad's best friend is also a creepy dude who should be locked up. Your mom had a relationship with a dog. Your brother's an evil genius with clearly like a swollen brain. He ain't going to this earth.
Yeah.
Your dad, man, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're just getting maybe the most authentic glimpse into analyzation of suburbia. Like this thing, this idyllic piece that we assume suburbia has. But when you like pull the layers back,
it could be some trash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It clearly is most of the time trash. When I moved from New Jersey to even like up at Darby, which is outside of Philly, that was the suburbs. I was like moved from the hood to the suburbs. You're just like, there's a like quiet darkness, you know what I mean, to the suburbs. Where in East Orange, it was like all in the open. You know what I mean? It's like as scary as sometimes things could be. It was like nothing felt hidden from me. Whereas I feel like with suburbs, so much of it is you don't really know what's going on behind those doors of that house. And as much as I don't watch Family Guy anymore, that aspect to me stuck out to me. I don't know if it was intentional, but sometimes you can't help but write your life. You know?
True.
But in that way, you're just like Peter Griffin is a real dad. But when you have that cartoon polish, you don't necessarily analyze it the same way. But you just gotta take the polish off. Update certain things, like you know who Meg is, you know who Chris is.
Yeah.
You've met these people before, yeah. Yep. Because I definitely met a few Loises in my life for sure. Like I've seen it. I know what it looks like. So like these folks, man.
I met the Peters. I went to school with the Chris's and the Megs too. Like like to me, it's like you know what it is. You know what it is. So it's in that way of twisting that and obviously finding the comedy in that. Like I can never sit here and deny there's a brilliance to that.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is for sure. And that kind of goes back to our earlier conversation, just talking about ways to represent reality and art, especially like if it's now things like American Dad and Family Guy, they're meant for an adult audience, obviously, but even doing it on that level, because like you said, watching it, you don't really think that's what you're seeing, but you're looking into, like you said, this representation of suburban life, that lifestyle. So it is interesting. It really is. The only thing I wish the Cleveland show got it right. They didn't. But I really wish they did a little bit more research. Yeah.
I think with the Cleveland show, I think I only watched one episode of the Cleveland show, but it's like I'm not one to tell someone they're not supposed to be telling this story, because the reality is it's like you could tell whatever story you want. Now if however people react to it, like that's like the truth. It's like the reaction that a Cleveland show got speaks to, you could tell whatever story you want, but if folks ain't really feeling it, hey,
you gonna know. Yeah.
At least you can't say I wasn't allowed to tell the story. You got to tell the story. So for me, I think when it came to shows like the Cleveland Show. Yeah, there's ways to obviously do it right. We know how it could have been done right. I think that idea of the dad, a black dad with the black family primetime sitcom, it hasn't been able to been tackled in the same way that The Simpsons or like Family Guy has done it. And
Yeah.
obviously we want it to be done by a black person, obviously, because you just want those anchor points, I think, are important.
Yes.
Or even if it's from Seth, because it's Seth MacFarlane's character, you want writers. You want the writers who have an understanding of the world to help guide this. But for me, it's like I said, I'm not here to tell anyone they can't tell their story. It's like, you just also have to be okay with the reaction you don't get. Because you gotta be cool with the fact that like it came and went. You ask all the questions like, what did we do wrong? Like, it's like you won't listen to my answers anyway, because I'm sure someone in the process was probably. There's always, that's the thing too. I feel like in a way, we're always in the room. We're always in these rooms. But the fact of the matter is, you can be in the room, but are they listening? Are people listening? Because I don't want to. That's the thing. Sometimes I feel we don't give our ourselves for the ability to get in these rooms and make it to these spaces. Folks out here working. I get into these rooms and I see folks. I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea of you. Long storied career. You've been a part of so many things, and you're just out here just cooking. But a lot of times too, it comes down to I'm cooking and I try to speak to things. I try to bring awareness to things. Are the people listening? Sometimes they don't. The proof is in the pudding. And I don't. That's why I don't want to necessarily make a blanket statement, because I know like just because I don't get to be in the rooms or make it to that room doesn't mean there isn't someone in that person isn't fighting to bring awareness to something.
Exactly. No, I definitely feel the same way. And like you said, I'm not here to tell somebody that they can't create their story, or because it's funny. I see the conversations happen a lot when they talk about media, especially animation and comics, and how different cultures, especially like how Black people are represented. You hear it come up in things like the new Spider-Man game and how Miles is represented, or the movie that just came out in Marvel with the Marvels, literally, and how some of those characters are represented. Like I said, these people, because I think Nia DaCosta. She directed that film. Yeah, these people are in the room as well. So I'm right there with you. I'm definitely there with you. I want to see these things happen where we get, like you say, that Black family representation, like a Simpsons treatment. But I'm not gonna hate on what's out there now, but I'm definitely ready for it, for sure. Like you said with Dragon Ball Z.
I would hope there's a young creative, older creative, any sort of creative, like putting that together in a way, and knowing, and like wise enough to know like the way to communicate to the people who greenlight these things, a way to get it across without the roadblocks we might hit. And
exactly,
because to me it's like it is very difficult to get anything made, and I'm grateful if Laser happens to be the last one. It's one more than I thought.
Exactly.
Like I appreciate the people I got to work with, the people I got to meet, and people who taught me a lot. And it's hard. It's hard, and it's not just hard for me. It's hard for everyone involved, every creative person involved, and every body on the show has ideas of themselves, ideas, and same conversations you guys are having, same things you guys are hoping for. There's folks who are working really hard to get that made. And in these spaces, you're communicating to folks who, even if they have the best intentions, they don't necessarily have grasp the full understanding of because you can only understand so much. And
Exactly.
the benefit of the visual medium is I can only explain so much, but if you give me the paintbrush or the camera, I can show you, and we can bridge that gap. But if I'm just communicating it here, then even though we all speak English, like communication is language is different. Things mean different things. Phrases mean different things, and I think that's something that I love when I'm writing is miscommunication, where it's like a phrase being taken like 5 different ways. But at the same time, when you're developing or making something, like you're really trying to deconstruct all your ideas in a way that it can be digested by the people who hold the keys. And for me, maybe the Black Simpsons, or maybe the Black version of Simpsons or Family Guy isn't necessarily just the Black Simpsons or Family Guy. Maybe it's something so new, and it will be something new. It will be something like, oh wow. Because I don't think, for me, and I think it's more so credit to Black people. Black innovation doesn't necessarily, to me, has never been presented in a way where it's walking in the same path as something else. It's taking something that exists and deconstructing it, and then remixing it, obviously, and creating a whole new legitimate thing with it.
Yeah, a brand new idea.
Yeah, and the idea of that family sitcom. Since it's been on for 35, 38 years, I just have a feeling the person is working on something, and it's gonna completely just shatter expectations.
No, I think so too. I think so too, and I think even recently, to give a shout out to Carl Jones, he just put out that thing where you have a Black family system, and they're showing that in a positive light. It's the show. It's Young Love?
Young Love.
Yeah, Love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So big shout outs for that.
That's Carl. Carl's brilliant in that way. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Being able to work with him, you learn so much, and you just get so much just history in regards to this medium that lucky enough to be able to work in. He taught me a lot. It definitely taught me a lot, without question. Even early on when you're new to this and not understanding how certain aspects of the system works, a lot of times I can look back and just be like, oh, okay, Carl. In hindsight, Carl's been through this, been through cooler, crazier versions of this, and when I got to it, it was a cool time. Wrote for us and gave me some cool ass voices too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
one of the best voice actors. I had to work with 2 great Summer.
Yeah.
Voice director. She was our voice director for season 2.
Nice.
Threw me a couple of voices, just so dope. And then Carl just knows how to be funny as hell. He just becomes a character, and it's just the funniest. I don't know. Carl is so good at taking a character and embodying pain in a way. I want to say this is wrong. The hurtness of an individual.
Yeah.
When the character he's playing is just hurt or confused, or perplexed. Obviously, Magnificent.
That's
contemplating anything.
Yes.
That's just the art.
No, it really is. And we were definitely, once again, in a position that we got the chance to sit down and actually chat with Carl, about, like I said, about a lot of things like Boondocks and about Laser Wolf as well. And that was just one of the things we had talked so glowingly about you and your work ethic as well. So we would really love, Henry, to hear it from your perspective too, not only on Laser Wolf, but on Fox ADHD, just your experience with being able to, like you said, get in that room with animation and being a cartoonist and just getting and being a creative director and kind of seeing what that was like, and even pitching to Adult Swim, like all of that good stuff. We want to hear it all from your perspective.
Yeah, for me, like I was lucky enough to be able to find things like Blogspot at the time and Tumblr. And for me, like, graduating, I went to Art Institute of Philadelphia, and after I graduated, it was a bit of a dead end in terms of finding jobs in a way, and just doing whatever job I could do. But at the same time, I wanted to draw. So for me, my goal was to find a job that paid well. It didn't have to be an art job that just could make me comfortable enough to draw.
Yeah.
Like I could just draw, put my stuff out. If I put it out independently, whatever, like that was my goal. So Tumblr was something that came along, and I would just draw and post on there and slowly gain folks who enjoyed whatever I was posting at the time. And for me, it was just like today, drawing for me is just, just trying to figure stuff out. And I was lucky enough to, at the time, I started Laser Wolf as a comic, web comic, and it was a joke of, I always say the joke of Laser Wolf was that it was a web comic that was like, to me, was fan art for something that never came out. To me, the comic was like, oh, this is like fan art for a cartoon that doesn't exist. And every strip was different stylistically, and things would be to be continued, but I would never continue it. In hindsight, very disrespectful to like the medium of comics in that way, where folks are like following and looking for a narrative, but the narrative.
Somebody was really waiting for that next comic.
Yeah, and it was like maybe if I kept going, I would jump back into that one that I continued 50 strips ago or whatever. But after a while, too, not that it had run its course, but to me, it was just like I never really had like a defined idea of my web comic. It was so I would think to me it was like I'm done. Not in a bad way. It's just like I'm just back to drawing. And I continued drawing, and a producer by the name of Danny Weidenfeld found my work. Found some of my work and pretty much said if I was ever, at the time I was living in San Jose, I was like game testing. I had a game testing job that my friend had. And that was over. But then Danny contacted me saying if I was ever in LA, let's meet up and talk cartoons. And I had a friend who lived in LA, my friend Godfrey Tavares, who he's a director, and he lived in LA, and at the time he was like, crash on my couch, crash here. And I had to take that opportunity because it was either that or go back to Pennsylvania. And so I took that opportunity, and he put me onto ADHD that way. His brother Nick Weidenfeld was running ADHD at the time. And, they had the gift department, and they would do where you just, it's a fun job where you make 2-3 gifts a day, and you're taking news stories and you illustrate in a light way, but also animate it a little bit, those muscles in a way. And I did that for a couple years, and then I was lucky enough to do that for a couple years. And towards the end, I had a pitch for something else, and I asked Daniel if I could pitch it to him. And it was for something else, but I was working on Laser Wolf independently, like it popped back up in my mind again. I was like, I want to do a little 3-minute short. Like in my mind, I guess in hindsight, I just want to do little vignettes, like no concrete stories, just a little 2-minute non sequitur vignettes that don't necessarily have like the deepest explanation of what the hell's going on. And I pitched the idea to him, and actually he liked it, but it needed to be fleshed out more. And I had Laser Wolf, the animatic, there, and I think he saw it. And I was able to break down Laser Wolf in a more coherent way than I was able to break down the thing I was initially pitching, because Laser Wolf was just sitting in my head for years.
For a long time.
Yeah. I just knew what that was. I knew what it was. I knew what every version of that was. So he wanted to move forward with that. I did this. At that time, ADHD was wrapping up. And I think by the time I wrapped up, I had already pitched Laser Wolf, and they agreed to a pilot. And met Walter Newman, and Cam at Adult Swim pitched to them, and they dug it. And no one was more shocked than me. Like, I'm just coming in and I'm thinking to myself, I just want to pitch this weird ass show about a wolf with a laser and his best friend as a fan. At the time, Battle Ham was a prominent. It was called Laser Wolf and Battle Ham. As it went along, you should just call it Laser Wolf. And we're able to stick with that a lot more season 2. But at the same time, just realizing how cool this opportunity was. I didn't really have a blueprint for how I wanted to go about it. And at the same time, I was lucky enough to start at Giphy while working on finishing up the pilot. We finished up the pilot and they dug it enough to want to pursue a series. And that's where Carl came along for the series. And yeah, from then on, pilot is just you. But when it's a series, you get writers.
That's when they get real.
Yeah, it got real, and these writers, all brilliant minds who, in a way, definitely helped expand the world from. Because Laser Wolf for me is, I don't necessarily want to say smaller. I know what at its core it is, and I know you bring in the writers and they just take your ideas and they expand it way more. And I knew that I wanted to create a place called Strongbird, and have this wolf nemesis be a giant floating head in the sky, and a yeti with a bite. All these things, and they're like, you have writers like, we get what you're trying to do. You do, and a lot of them just took the ball and ran with it, and I learned a lot from them, and I learned a lot from the process. At the same time, too, you just also learn how to do certain things better, how to tell stories better. It's always, oh man, if I got another opportunity, I know how to tell this better. For me, I wanted to just create something that gave me the energy of Adult Swim when I was a kid. Something that wasn't necessarily structured, concrete storytelling, but more of a feeling. And then with Laser Wolf, I just a feeling more so than like concrete story.
It's real sporadic. I like you're in the middle of a scene and then a panel pops up from a character, or you see a character's thought bubble, and they're communicating with their thought bubble. It's super duper sporadic, and I think I guess the best way to put it is I love the energy. It's just like a lot of, and of course I love the references and having the guests in there, like the references to different rappers and things like that, like the E40 bus driver was hilarious.
Yeah, that had a great E40. JD, who plays Stupid Horse, has a great E40 impersonation. I was like, you just need to do that. But the sporadic visual nature of the show also was, like, to me, like, that was created by the artists who were involved, board artists, the designers, all the background artists. You get a script, and obviously, when you get a script, you can do exactly what the script tells you, but in a way, with Laser, even if it was just dying on this hill, you just visually want it to be different. And I think with the notes we were getting, in my mind, I wanted this to feel like the fastest 11 minutes.
Yes, that's accurate.
I wanted to feel like the fastest 11 minutes, and I wanted the music to like help with that. You almost hear music throughout, and it was a race. Laser Wolf's always been a race to the finish, and I almost want to be like, oh wow, like all that happened. Like,
no, literally,
yeah,
all happened just now. Like, we'll see you tomorrow.
You don't even have a chance to really, and that's the perfect way to describe it. A lot happens, and I find myself like thinking about like when I was preparing for the episode when we talked to Carl. I was watching the Laser Wolf episodes, and I was just like, wow, you're watching it and you don't really have time to process what happens, but a lot of the crazy little tete-a-tetes and jokes and all that kind of comes back to you later. Just it wasn't even like a big thing to me, but when the Yeti is like talking to his father and he's just like, yo, you gotta go, you know what I'm saying? And then the little bitty bye-bye thing kills me every time. Like that, I don't know, that kills me every time I go back to watch the episode.
It's so cool to, because for me and the board artists and the writers, it was really, it really became about, let's get, not in a bad way, obviously, but like, let's get to the end. Like, I just wanted to try my best at creating a storytelling language, if that's the right way to phrase it. No. To me, it's like something that also is like, so much happens, go back and watch it again, and maybe you'll catch some more things. But even if it all happens so fast, or you can watch it again and you're like, to me, it's like that joke avalanche. There's
exactly
things from the episode that imprint themselves onto you, and little things you're singing from the episode, or little things that like. And my favorite thing to do, honestly, is my favorite type of laughter is the why did you do that laugh?
Exactly.
Right. To me, it's like you do something and the person is like laughing. I was like, well, what? Like, why'd you do this? And to me, I'm always trying to capture that. And I felt, as corny as it may sound to folks, Wulf is, I don't know if there's such a thing as a safe space in reality, sadly, but to me, it's like Lazy Wolf it's a chill spot. Even when you see violence, it's the most kind of chill kind of violence you'll see. Like, we earn our TV 14 or MA rating. Everyone's cursing their ass off. For real. A lot of curses. Like, sometimes the S&P like, you guys like said, you guys went OD, and it's, look, we're giving you like lush, bright world, and no one's head is getting blown off and brains, which I don't mind none of these things, but this was the language of laser. For me, it was just important. I don't know why, but back then too, at the time too, it was just important. You have this world full of Black characters. So I was like, I don't want to show people dying at the time. I'm like, and that's where like the whole Looney Tune-esque concept of even when they die, they all die. No one dies because God likes to be alone.
I love that concept. Yeah, exactly.
Folks died, and folks move into my house. Like, that even was an inspiration to me. Like, no one is dying in Dragon Ball Z. Like, you can be brought back. Like, so the stakes have to be different. And for me, the stakes being different, then the stakes have to be silly. The stakes have to be dumb. And it was fun to always find that. Also, what's the Civil War like if it's if it's not necessarily about slavery, because slavery didn't exist in a place like Strongburg. What are those about?
Right, about savory lemonade, basically.
Yeah, let's get to digging that sandbox. And honestly, too, the best part about Laser is that everyone who was involved, Black, white, whoever like was involved, it was like, it was cool to create something that folks ain't really get angry about or question. I felt like it was this weird, quiet miracle in a way for me, where it's like folks knew what it was. Everyone knew what it was in that sense. Yep. It was just like, it's just some fun, silly, good time. I never really caught any grief, like, from any Christian organizations over God, because who's gonna associate their God with Laser? If you look at the Laser of God and say, this is my God you're making fun of, like, I'll be the first to tell you gotta quit that. This ain't
man. You gotta put it down, bro.
You gotta run up in there and get your money. You. So it's like one of those things where we created a world so far removed from certain things that it's like, like the goal wasn't really necessarily to offend. It never really is. But it's also like sometimes if you are, but it never was the goal. It was just trying to create a spot where folks, like like-minded folks, will come in and laugh, or be like, honestly, I always say, if I can't make you laugh, I'd rather make you go, what? Huh? Like, why did you do that? What's going on? Anything but apathy. For me, it wasn't trying to. So for me, that journey to Laser was all ADHD, get all these places were involved because like a lot of my work experience, as cool as these opportunities were, it was like they're not my spaces. In the sense that this is someone else's creation. This is someone else's box that I'm allowed and paid for to make things in, and I'm appreciative of that. But with Laser was my chance to have my box and make stuff within it, and hopefully give creatives the comfort to develop in it, but also find themselves in it and hopefully go outside of it and make their own things too if they want. Or you could just stay here too. Either way, I'm just like, I'm here. This is here for you. But if you also feel like doing this, I figured something out. So I'm dipping, but thanks. Hey man, like that's dope too.
Hey, I definitely like that. Because with me, yourself, we were talking about earlier with the type of media that we watch, or I'm always down to see something new or fresh, or like you said, one of those things that's like nonconformist. Like that show was completely nonconformist in every sense of the word. And it gives me the vibes of a regular show or Uncle Grandpa in a way that is just wow, these guys that created the show, they really thought outside of the box and it works at the end of the day. And like I said, me and the guys, we were floored. Like as soon as we got a chance to watch it, and everything from the animation to the subject matter to the comedy to even the voice cast, man, you had the goats: Vince Staples, Quinta Brunson, JD Witherspoon. Like everything just came together to make a beautiful piece of art, man. So we really think that's dope.
Oh, thank you guys. Like honestly, like the fact that what you said, it really means a lot. It really does. Honestly, anyone who genuinely enjoys what was presented, like it means a lot. It meant a lot to make it. It means a lot when people enjoy it and find any sort of joy with it, you know. And yes, I was spoiled with too much talent. Spoiled. And the fact that they were able to are okay with jumping into my dumb, absurd, surreal world to do this for me, I'll always be grateful and appreciative to them for it. And like when they're all winning every damn award that they all deserve, I could be like, I made them do some stupid stuff on a cartoon.
Exactly. There you go.
Love it. Love it. But yeah, man, Mr. Bonsu, it's been a pleasure having the time to sit down and chat with you and basically just nerd out, man. Like you said, when you watch the other episode, it's just all good vibes here, man. We just like to nerd out and talk for a couple hours, man. So we were so honored that you took the time out to talk with us. Thank you so much.
Man, I love this. I love your show. I love you guys' show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Come, you gotta come back too, man. You always
look,
always welcome. Always welcome.
Hit me up whenever if there's anything new that I'm lucky enough to be able to do. I'll be more than happy to come here and talk about it too. I love this. I love what you guys are doing, and honestly, like I have it on while I work because I'm also learning a lot about things I need to catch up on and learn too. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, and we got you too. Like, just say we do it all the time, man. Say the word. If you want new shows, new content, new anime, we will create the list for you. We got you.
Man, I'll be watching. I'll be watching and listening. So like whatever is new, whatever is old, whatever I just don't know about, I'm typing it in. I'm bookmarking it. Got a Google Doc set up for need to check this out expeditiously.
Expeditiously, yes. Hey, look, we definitely got you. But with that being said, and Dmitri, don't think I didn't see that cameo. I saw the cameo, bro. He showed up today.
He finally made it.
Yes, there we are.
Roshi? Yeah,
Roshi. What's up, Roshi?
Yeah, Roshi. It's the new
Roshi.
guy. Yeah, Roshi, the new guy.
Roshi, man, came through.
Came through. He heard me talk about Dragon Ball Z and said, "I'm gonna think of a guest appearance."
I appreciate it.
Oh man, no problem. And with that being said, Mr. Bonsu, go ahead and let all of our viewers and listeners know, man. The floor is yours. Let them know what you got going on right now. If you could let us know about maybe some things you got coming up in the future, social media, all that. It's all you, man. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm lucky enough to be able to. I'm developing a couple things, and it's in nice places. Hopefully, one of them can happen, or like if life is crazy enough where both of them can happen. But I'll be grateful if one happens. But also at the same time, I am just, I don't know when this is going to be done, but I am just been like, it's chipping away at this comic that I've just been working on. And it's definitely not, it's more of, I would say, stylistically, the way I pretty much like to draw, like these days, is very much inspired by children's illustration art. I like to take that style and throw it into some adult dumbassery, which I think is what I happen to be doing right now. I don't know what it is, but I just tend to draw on whatever, however it comes out is how it comes out. I've been working on that for the past couple months too. Yeah, and some small animations, which you can see on my Instagram, Henry the Worst. And yeah, where else can you find me? At your local supermarket, where I'm picking up a Spindrift or some gummy bears because I'm an addict. Yeah.
Man, join the club, man. Yes.
It's bad. It's bad for me. It's bad for me. But yeah, no, that's where I'm at. Henry the Worst on Twitter or whatever the hell it's called now.
It's X, man.
Yeah, it's called that. Yeah, same on Instagram. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I want to thank you guys again.
All right, man. And you were completely welcome. And for all of our viewers and listeners, no worries. We will put all of Henry's information in the description below. So be looking out for that, guys.
His Instagram is going across the bottom of the screen right now. His name and Instagram is going across the bottom of the screen. So if you want to follow him,
it is.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. Yeah, we hooked you up. We made it easy for you.
We made it even easier for you.
Greatly appreciated.
No problem. So with that being said, guys, once again, guess what time it is?
Shameless promotional.
To get a shameless promotional.
All right. Mark, see, that's the thing. That's our, what do you call it? That's our canon event. Mark is always.
That's our jingle, man. That's our jingle.
Yeah,
man. That's the jingle. That's the jingle now.
Yeah, I gotta.
You guys need that soundboard prop.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for real. No, for real, we need it.
We need to get a soundboard.
We really do.
Going on. We got it. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna get some things going.
Oh no, we're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together. But yes, guys, it is time for the Shameless Promotional. And as always, we are the Square Roundtable Podcast, and you can catch us on our website, the squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. And guys, you can catch this episode as well as all of our other wonderful episodes. And one more time, guys, our website is squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com.
And you can catch us on YouTube. And if you love this video and any of our other videos, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell on the right side of the video to get notified of this video and future videos. And also leave us a comment about anything we talked about in this episode. Whether you've seen his project Laser Wolf, whether you're a Yamcha fan, you're the only small majority of it, you're a Yajirobe fan. Got him out there somewhere. Yeah, justice for my boy Yamcha. Not me, but that's you guys. Join that pesky Facebook group, man.
Join that pesky Facebook group. Yes, join that pesky Facebook group.
And eventually TikTok. We always say it, but we're gonna get there.
We old, man. Like I always say, we consider the old generation, so we don't know nothing about no TikTok.
Hey, we prehistoric now. You know, they call us prehistoric now.
We old. And the last thing, you can also catch us on Rap Nerd Radio. So that is rapnerd.com, and you can catch us live at 7 p.m. EST. 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can always catch us there. And guys, we are on television. We need to talk about that more. So you can actually catch us. Yes, you can catch us on Roku and Fire Stick, guys. We are currently on Always Press Record. So we are on. Yeah, so we on TV, guys. We have made it, and we promise to talk about that more. But man, Henry, we've been laughing the whole time, man. This has probably been the most fun I've had in a while recording, man. So
Yes.
definitely,
I had a great time.
definitely thank you for
It
that.
was-
Likewise.
Hey, no, it was a blast. And like I said, you're more than welcome to come back. And with that being said, I would love all of our wonderful co-hosts and guests to introduce themselves before we head out again. And as always, guys, I am your host, Chad Singleton.
I'm your host, Dmitri.
Marcus, hashtag yes, hashtag no.
Hashtag no.
Shout out to Josh, man. We miss you, brother.
Yes. Yes.
I'm Henry Bonsu, Yajirobe Supremacy.
Hey.
Man, we gotta show love. We gotta show love. And look, man, look. And one time for Yamcha, y'all. We gotta pour it out for Yamcha before we head out.
Hold on, wait. I got a cup. Hold on. There you go.
Pour one out for the homies.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Pour it out for the
homies.
I refuse to waste my water on losers. I can't do it.
Gosh.
I can't do it.
Well, hey,
I'll drink.
hey,
He said he ain't
hey,
his
Henry
homie.
said it. Hey, Henry said he ain't the homie, man.
I said it
That's what
already.
it is.
Yajirobe Supremacy here.
It is.
Stay out the way.
Hey, I guess we only team Yajirobe, so don't do the most, do enough. And with that being said, guys, we are the Square Round Table Podcast. Words to live by, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.